Hey guys, big game weekend, February 8th, Shirts versus Skins in New Orleans at the Uno Lakefront Arena. Me, Nikki Glazer, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Adam Reyes, Dr. Phil, and, dare I say, a very special guest who's been at all of these. Get your tickets at Bert.com.
Daddy's hand that you used to hold all night.
God damn it, Bert.
Did you hear me start crying? Did you hear me cry? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The first word.
I went like this.
You hadn't even said a word.
I started going like this.
I know.
I'm so sorry. How do we get you?
Shit. I was a product of a father's shadow, I think.
Yeah.
Big time. I'm a junior. And I wear my dad's name. My dad had a big personality.
Was your dad still with us?
No, he passed away 6 years ago. And so I was very comfortable living in his shadow. And so I was always a very quiet, nerdy kid. I had his eyes and his name, and that's about it. We were so different in so many other ways. And we actually had a lot of other similarities, but he worked on cars and he hated school. And here I am, like this little nerdy science kid. And the one thing that we really had in common was a love for boxing. I think I inherited his passion for it. And he showed me passion really young. He showed me like risk taking. And because he was like a 24-year-old guy raising 3 kids on his own and like creating his own boxing career. He had nobody nurturing that. I just saw this wild man doing this. And like I said, it was a really comfortable place to live. And he taught me how to fight. He threw me in a ring really young. So, because I think he knew like I was always going to be really quiet and I was always going to have battles. And I don't think he really knew what to do with me because I was just so different and so weird. And, but throwing me in a ring, that was like my first stage, really. Kind of prepared me, I think, for so many boilerplates in life. And then eventually, you know, I fought in all the Golden Gloves and we did all the boxing stuff growing up. And I was a quiet kid hanging out in the woods, kind of taking notes of all of it. I had like biology books like that I would fill out and like my own biology notebooks and drawings. My dad was concerned, to say the least. And he got me a guitar for my 16th birthday because he saw that, you know, I was just watching these guitar players all the time. And he caught me picking out theme songs on one of those little Walmart Casio keyboards. It was like a theme song to a sitcom or something. And he was like, "You just picked that out by ear?" And he's like, "Who taught you how to do that?" And I was like, "Nobody. It's just, this is how you play it. It goes like this." And he was like, "Well, that's weird. I couldn't do that if you put a gun to my head right now." And he was like, and he saw my fascination with rock and roll. And so he got me a guitar for my 16th birthday. And for some reason, I felt like when I started playing it, like I always just knew how to play it. Like it was like kind of makes me believe in past life regression and all that stuff because I don't know, because I just feel like I just know it. Like, and I started picking it up and playing by ear and just hiding in my room. And my dad just kind of got real used to that. And then, you know, I decided to, like, science was like my ticket out of my hometown because, like, I wanted to go see the world and I didn't want to stay in my tiny little hometown and be my father's son in that town for, like, I felt like I needed to go see other things. And so when he died, like, that's how you got me. Because all of that before he died and his shadow went away and the light was on me. And here I am. And this is what you got. And I died with him. That's what a lot of people don't tell you, is when someone like that dies, that you die right there with him. And everything that I thought I was died with him on the phone when I said goodbye to him on an iPhone 8 in the middle of Kentucky on the side of the highway. And with that came a birth of this weirdo, which is a culmination of everything I've done in my life But like it takes a big paradigm shift. I think a death of someone and a death of self to get here. And that's I don't know how I got here.
You made me think I'm named after my father, and I'm a third. And I lived in his shadow, and my dad is nothing like me, and I make my dad very uncomfortable. And I often think about, I think probably more than the average person about the day my dad dies. I think about it all the time. When phone calls come in, I go, this is the phone call. And I wonder if that moment when he passes, if that will be the death of a part of me and a rebirth of a part of me. Because I lean on that guy so fucking much.
Yeah. You don't realize how much you do, especially when they're gone. It really hits you massively. And yeah, I understand that. Cherish him if you can.
Yeah. Well, he's coming out tomorrow? Saturday, so I got to build up to it. My dad could be a lot.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
it's funny. My dad, when I was 6, I was playing second base, and I caught a fly ball. Bases were loaded, and I spiked the ball and ripped my shirt off and started dancing. And everyone cleared the bases, and we lost the game. My dad was fucking livid.
I love that, man.
But I didn't see him getting mad. What I saw were the stands losing their minds. I remember to this day, someone yelled, "Put some mustard on that hot dog." And my dad's like, I got off. He goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "What?" It was awesome. He was like, "We just lost the game." I said, "But you hear everyone cheering?" And he was like, "You took your shirt off. You're 6. What the fuck is wrong?" I mean, we sat in silence on that ride home, and I was still shirtless. And the song Sticks, Sticks was playing, and in the car, and I was like, I'm still oblivious. So I looked at my dad and I go, "This is my theme song." And he was like, "Who the fuck is this kid?"
That's an amazing story. You created an experience out of that. So you're a blessing, Bert.
No, you're the blessing. You're the blessing. How many times you made people in this office cry? Your music is so fucking powerful, and your ability to translate emotion and I mean, you are really fucking special, man. Like, you really are. And the thing that I think is so interesting is just how unique your path has been, your journey has been. You know, and I said this to you when we were hanging out last time, I was like, it almost feels like a prank. Like, you're like Golden Gloves boxer. Did you get scared when you were boxing as a kid?
Yeah. Yeah, that was part of it. That's part of the training, though. You're supposed to feel fear. If you didn't, there'd be something kind of wrong with you. That's the most fear or the most pressure I've ever experienced was, especially when I fought in the Golden Gloves, because like I saw so many of my heroes and my dad fight in the Golden Gloves as a little kid. And it's just it was such a prestigious kind of moment. But yeah, if life was a pressure cooker, like that was 11. And my dad, I think, wanted me to know that I could handle an 11. And because now, like when I step on stage, at best, it's an 8.
Yeah.
So I can, he just set a bar really high for me. And like I said, the fear was part of the training. If I didn't have the fear, I wouldn't have had the progress that I gleaned from it.
It's such a cool thing a dad can do is get you ready for pressure.
Yeah.
It's so cool. My dad, when I was a kid, when I was really young, whenever the game was on the line, he'd go, "This is where you excel, buddy." He's like, you love the pressure. You love it. And when I go on stage, I go, "It's nothing."
Yeah.
Nothing. I love this. I remember I had a special where I bombed we were filming 2 shows. I bombed the first show. And as I was getting ready, Leanne said to me, "Well, you love the pressure. You love the pressure. This is where you excel." Mm-hmm. And I killed that second show because he just put it in my head, like the way your dad goes, this is the 11. Everything else in life is going to be an 8. Yeah. Let's put you in the 11. It's like a gift.
It really was. And I think it was, you know, I think he knew I had a lot of heat coming my way, and for some reason, and I think it was the only thing he knew to do with me because he knew I wasn't going to work on cars. He's like, he barely passed like general math. He can't help me with my calculus. Like, you know, it was just like, all I can do is teach him how to fight because really life is that. It's just a fight.
How many your brothers?
I have a brother and 2 sisters. Me and my brother are kind of Irish twins. We like a year and 4 or 5 months apart. So we grew up pretty much the same size. So we were perfect sparring partners. My brother was an incredible boxer. Like he actually had so much more natural talent than me. And so we started, like my first fight was with my brother. First like sanctioned fight in the ring. We did an exhibition fight with each other. And our last fight was with each other. We fought each other in the father-son music video. Yeah, we beat the shit out of each other for like 4 rounds. It was good fun. But yeah, like that's, you know, we had a barn and my dad built a ring in the barn and he'd just take us out there and we'd get working. We'd beat the hell out of each other and then go eat dinner and hope it wasn't salty because it was going to hurt.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You thinking lyrics. I hope it wasn't salty because it would hurt. Like that's a small detail. Where you're like, I love small details. Yeah, there was something about that. Like I would see Nick take a bite. My brother's name is Nicholas, and I'd see him take a bite of like mashed potatoes or something. He would wince. I'd be like, I got you, dude. You're hurting because I hurt you. Gosh.
Anyway, it was really a beautiful thing. I love my brother so much, and the feeling is mutual. Like there was just so much love in that. It's really hard to explain. And sparring my dad, one of the hardest I've ever been hit in my life is by my dad. Really? Not like in a boxing ring with gloves on, with headgear on. Like I lost time for a few seconds just from a jab when I was a teenager. I just remember like, wow, that's what it's like to get hit by a man. So like he wanted me to know what it felt like to get hit by a man because I was about to be getting hit by men in a couple of years. So. And I did. When you start fighting men, that's when it gets real.
Anywhere worth going is worth going in good boots. Find your perfect pair with Tecovas. Tecovas crafts quality Western boots for everyone, from generational ranchers and lifelong cowboys to first-time boot buyers like myself. I love these boots. Born in Texas in 2015, Tecovas makes it easy for anyone to find their perfect boot. They sincerely do. Their website is so user-friendly. Every one of Tecovas boots are handcrafted with over 200 meticulous steps for broken-in comfort right out of the box. Whether it's a long day or a big night, your Tecovas are built to last and impress. You know I'm a sneaker guy, right? I am a sneaker guy, a little bit. Not like crazy. Man, I got that same rush looking at boots. There's so many boots I wanted. I ended up buying 3 different pairs, all kind of the same pair, but very sexy. And I'll tell you what's cool about Tecovas is they offer, like if you're not like a boot guy where you're going to wear it up to the middle of your calf and you don't have jeans for that, you can find, I got these low cut boots with a zipper on the side that I look like a real cowboy. Right now, get 10% off at tecovas.com/Bert when you sign up for email and text. That's 10% off. At tecovas.com/Bert. Tecovas.com/Bert. See site for details. Tecovas. Point your toes west. 'Tis the season to liven up dinner. Gift an endless variety of tasty foods from award-winning chefs with Cook Unity. Cook Unity meals are crafted from local, farm-fresh ingredients and deliver vibrant flavors directly to your door, all at a fraction of the cost and time. Go to cookunity.com/Bertcast or enter code Bertcast before checkout for 50% off your first week. Dozens of chefs offer a variety of cuisines selected from over 350 meals or have them pick for you. Browse the menu by protein, chef, cuisine, or dietary need. You're sure to find the food you'll love. These chefs you see on TV and in 5-star kitchens are the chefs that make your Cook Unity meals. I'm telling you, I got so jazzed to look at the different chefs, and you know I'm a protein guy. I was like, bro, we're going hardcore steak, hardcore fish, hardcore chicken. That was it. Hardcore steak, hardcore fish, hardcore chicken. I Loved it. Give the gift of delivering mouthwatering meals crafted by local ingredients and award-winning chefs with Cook Unity. Go to cookunity.com/Bertcast or enter code Bertcast before checkout for 50% off your first week. That's 50% off your first week by using code Bertcast or going to cookunity.com/Bertcast. There was a saying my buddy Andy Sheftall said one time. It was right around the Iraq War, I think. It was right around when we maybe second Iraq War. I don't know. We were in college. He said every man needs to get his dick knocked in the dirt once.
I agree. Yeah.
Because that humility. He said the problem with Saddam Hussein, he never got his ass kicked. Yeah. Which I imagine growing up in Iraq, you probably got your ass kicked once or twice.
Yeah, you would think.
You would think.
Yeah.
But Mussolini never got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Mussolini was a fucking prick.
Yeah.
I'm listening to a documentary on him. He was a real prick. But yeah, getting hit by a man.
Yeah, some people just never got a good ass beating. I mean, like from their parents or just from another. Like the universe never corrected them, and they just were allowed to go uncorrected. And
do you follow boxing still?
Very much, yeah.
Do you follow MMA at all?
Yeah,
really?
Because there's a lot of boxing in it, and it's an incredible sport. So, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I feel like boxing is really having a moment within MMA, not just the crossover and all that's happening, but you see like fighters like Sean Strickland, like he's won fights strictly with mostly just boxing. You know, there's a lot of boxing going on, and there's obviously a lot of jiu-jitsu and judo and especially Muay Thai, but we're seeing a lot of boxing for sure.
Yeah, it's every time I've ever hung out with fighters, there is a calmness about them, and there's a sweetness to them, and there's a directness. It's really an interesting human. Rogan's a perfect example of this. They're the last person to get in a fight. They're the last person to look for a fight or instigate a fight. They're calm as shit, and they're very centered. Like it's like every one of these guys I know, and like you said, the power of a man who knows how to use his hands is very different than the average guy.
Yeah, it really is. And like you said, I mean, fighters are very gentle spirits. At least the dangerous ones are. Yeah. So yeah, I've always found like even their handshakes are firm, but they're not overly firm. There's a peacefulness about them and a real sweetness about them. And I go to boxing gyms a lot just to hang out with them.
Do you still work out like boxing workouts?
Yeah, a good bit. I got busted knuckles the other day. But yeah, Harlan Howard, a legendary songwriter from Nashville, he used to say, I'm going to go check my traps when he didn't have song ideas. Like he'd have these little spots he would go to and just try to kick over a stone and see if there was something underneath it. And my gym is one of my very productive traps. Really? I go there often, and obviously I work out. But I go there because everybody in there is fighting something. They all have like a serious battle that they're really dealing with it. And they're dealing with it on their own. They're not like going through it. You can literally see them. It's just one-on-one. And I get a lot of ideas out of the sport. There's a lot of poetry in it. So.
Well, what's interesting is something about boxing, and I've whatever boxing I've done was all stunt movie boxing. Like it's just like to learn how to throw a punch and to duck a punch or to throw a jab or a combination. But there is this is so stupid, but it's like with riding a roller coaster. When you ride a roller coaster, you're forced to be present. And when you box, you're forced to be present.
Yeah.
You're forced to not think about anything else. So all these thoughts that come in are really clean.
Yeah.
And
it's meditative.
It's meditative.
Yeah. And like you said, it's really hard to like think about, your checking account or anything in that moment when somebody's trying to punch you in the face. You really just stay focused on not getting punched in the face. It's crazy how very few distractions you have in that moment. As an ADD person, you become pretty focused.
What's your brother doing now?
He works on cars, and he took over my dad and his shop. They started A backyard body shop. My dad's dream was to have a backyard body shop that was successful. And he built a body shop that used to be our barn that we would spar in. He built an auto body repair shop out of that. And he and my brother started it together, and it's just doing really well. My brother has taken over the shop, and he lives in the house that we grew up in, and he really preserves our legacy.
That is in Indiana. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it is about the most southern Indiana thing you'll ever see. It is a literal, like you drive into our driveway, you see the body shop sign, and it's the same driveway that I snuck out in as a kid and rolled my truck out of to go to keggers and cornfields. And it's just a lot of history. It's wrapped around in a cornfield, very much like the movie Signs. Like every other year, it's corn or soy or off. And so every 3 years, it's wrapped in a cornfield. And it's just a really very humble and simple way of life. And I'm grateful for him, like carrying my dad's legacy through that. It's a lot of hard work. And I don't know anyone that works harder than my brother, Nicholas.
That you're like, everything I'm hearing about you, everything I talk to you about, everything that comes out of your mouth is so what I want out of, like, I'm obsessed with John Mellencamp.
Yes, sir.
I'm obsessed with him.
Hometown boy.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with him. Like I did a show one time and they're like, John Mellencamp's the theater next door.
Yeah.
I was like, can I meet him? And they were like, well, your shows would end around the same time. I was like, oh, I can go short. So I did usually like an hour 30. I did an hour 15. And I got off stage and I sprinted next door.
Wow.
And heard him closing out with Jack and Diane, I think. I think it was Jack and Diane or Pink Houses. And I sat off to the side of the stage. And I'm like, I'm watching John. And then he came off and he was like, it was so fucking cool. He was so cool. We took a picture together. He was so cool, but he was also like, you could tell he was like, I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you like 5-10 minutes. Like, hey, I'm fucking getting out of here.
Yeah, I can see him. He could, I don't know him at all. I actually met him when I was a young kid.
Oh.
He told me a dirty joke, and he smoked cigarettes. That's all I would do anything to be able to hit rewind in my mind and go back and just replay that joke. Because it was kind of inappropriate, but quite funny. And I wish I could remember.
What was the joke?
I don't remember it at all. I was like, I just know it was inappropriate because like his sister went, John, after he said it. He got in kind of some trouble for it. And yeah, that was my only John Mellencamp experience I've ever had. And he's from Seymour, Indiana, where I was born and raised. So he was the soundtrack to my life, my childhood, like my town, literally. It was really important for a songwriter, like for anybody for that matter, but especially I didn't know I was going to be a songwriter when I was a kid, but like he's a painter. He paints now, like really incredible paintings.
His son. So he's got, can you pull up John, HUD? I know HUD. HUD and I partied together. He's got another son who's a painter.
Yeah.
Who's fucking amazing.
Oh, I want to see his work. I mean, he gets it honest. His dad, I feel like his dad has been a painter for a long, long time. Yeah,
what?
Spec.
Yeah, it's Spec.
Yeah.
Spec is a wild, amazing good painter.
Wow.
I'm gonna call Spec out for a second.
Come on.
So like,
he's named after his granddad.
Is he?
Yeah.
I said, Spec, I want you to do a painting of me. And he was like, cool. And Spec's like you. He's an intense dude, very artistic, very direct with his words. Like kind of HUD's a little more like me, like a little fun, a little loose, like let's do a shot kind of guy. And Spec's like, I'd love to do a painting of you. I said, cool. So we set it up. Do you remember this, Leanne? He's like, I'll need you to sit for about 9 hours. And I was like, Spec.
Yeah, come on,
sit
man.
for 9 hours. Spec's like, this is what I do. I'm a painter.
Cow.
But Spec's a brilliant painter. Can you pull up some of his paintings?
Yeah, I want to see it.
What's your favorite John Mellencamp song?
Weakest Moments.
Weakest Moments.
Yeah, that's probably like one that really sticks in. And check it out. I just will never get over that song too. The production and the lyrics.
There's a line in Jack and Diane. So I'm listening to Jack and Diane with Leanne. We're driving on the interstate, and Leanne grew up like you did, like rural. Certain words in John Mellencamp songs, the average person, it's almost like hip hop. You'll hear the song, you'll say whatever you think it is. You don't know what the actual thing is. And I thought it was, let me dribble off those babbling brooks and I'll do what I please. And Leanne goes, it's Bobby Brooks slacks.
Yeah.
And I said, what? She goes, you had to grow up in the South. You have to grow up in a small town to know what a Bobby Brooks slacks are. It's what all the girls wore. Let me get you out of those Bobby Brooks slacks and do what I please. And I was like, how much more to his music was I not wrapping my head around? And how authentic is that lyric to the people that grew up like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing.
The little details that really add up with him. And I really noticed that. And even in like paintings, there's so many little details and nuances that you don't really think about till you really take it in. And I felt like he was always painting, even when he was writing songs. Like his medium was a song and his pen was a brush. Yeah. It was just, and I actually, I was lucky enough to live and grow up in his paintings, which is crazy because like the small town, the pink houses, everything, every song he wrote was like, I could look around and feel like I was like living in a painting of his. And it was really important for me to see that as a songwriter. It's like, this guy is nailing it. I can believe this because I'm in it. It's, there was nothing to dispute there.
So, I understand what you're saying because when your music is what music is, and maybe whatever's hot, like Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses or Nirvana. When I heard Nirvana the first time, I was like, I don't have any of that teen angst, but I wish I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't relate to it. But then it was like, when I got into comedy, like I'd hear people do like smart, clever jokes. And I was like, I didn't relate to that because that's not what made my friends laugh. What made my friends laugh was a good story.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard Ron White tell a story about getting kicked out of a bar, I was with Leanne. I went, that's what I do. That's what I want to do. That's what made me and my friends laugh. Yeah. A great story. And then I just shifted into like, and it was great. It was, right at the time of podcasting came out, and I started telling those stories that made our friend, but you got to see the thing that's really brilliant. Because anytime I drive through rural Indiana, rural anywhere, and you listen to John Mellencamp, you feel like you are in that music video.
Absolutely. And he nailed it. And I'm really grateful for him and all the work that he's done. I hope he feels appreciated.
Wow. Hey, when did you switch out? I want to know, when did the divergent path, is that what you say, from Golden Gloves boxer to scientist happen?
Well, kind of at the same time.
When was your last fight? Were you fighting when you were like, I think I'm going to go to college and become a scientist?
Yeah, I was fighting all the way through college. Like I was, I quit I quit competitively boxing around my sophomore year of college because I just really didn't have enough time to train and do a science degree. And the Golden Gloves wanted to give me like a scholarship, but you have to really stay entrenched in the sport, and you really got to train. Like you're going to get your ass kicked bad. And so I really, if I couldn't commit to the training, I didn't want to commit to it. So I really just focused on school and still trained in boxing. But, right around college is when I was like, okay, I'm just, I've kind of conquered, all that I wanted to conquer in the sport of boxing. I wasn't really serious about going pro. I did think about it and, really want to build a career out of it. But I had this science thing and I was just so passionate about it, and I was just good at it. That was really one thing. Like, just because you're good at something doesn't necessarily mean you're supposed to do it for the rest of your life. That's what I learned later on. But, everybody was like,
But you've been good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not all of us are good at a lot of things.
Well, I'm not good at a lot of things.
My dad told me one time, for whatever reason, you're good at comedy. Don't think you're good at everything else. He goes, stick to the one thing that you're good at.
Yeah. Well.
But you sound like a guy who's literally straddled, dare I say, greatness in different fields at different times, where you've had to make a choice that not a lot of people get presented with that opportunity or that difficult decision of going like, do I go pro as a boxer or do I become a scientist?
Yeah.
Do I stay with science and one of the leading fucking candy makers in the fucking world, which have some of the best candy bars in the world, and we'll go through those candy bars in a second.
As we should.
Or do I become what I am, dare I say, one of the more prolific singer-songwriters I've ever seen enter in Nashville in my life. The second I heard you, I reached out to you immediately. And the second I heard you, I reached out to everyone going, does everyone, and all of a sudden, in a flood of a week, everyone's hitting me up. And like, I walk in and Halston's crying, listen to one of your songs. And I mean, it's like really, and so, I mean, so I apologize for interrupting your answer, but you had to straddle a weird decision.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that one was a much easier one to put boxing on the side and go into science because, one, it was safer, and I valued my brain. And, there's a lot of people don't understand the head trauma that can happen with boxing. It's one of the more dangerous sports in the world. And then, the real hard part for me was leaving science for songwriting. Because I had a great gig, as you would call it.
This is an odd question. What does it look like or feel like to be good at science?
I guess it feels all right. I mean, honestly, I felt like a dork. I felt like a nerd, but I was a nerd that got paid.
But is it like, are you like I don't really understand science. So like, do you pull your eye back from a microscope and be like, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, I did at one point. I remember when I got my own lab and at Mars, I had my own lab and everything.
Did you have to wear white to work and stuff?
No, I didn't have to, but I did because, we wore lab coats in the lab, and there was a lot of safety gear you had to wear. But yeah, there was a moment where I was like, wow, I got like my own lab and like, yeah, I can make anything in here. There was like, I had like, raw materials at my disposal, and there was a moment that, I really thought it was quite cool. I had no issue with being a scientist. I actually really quite loved it. But I think the universe had something else in mind. And I really, when I was working there, back to just because you're good at something doesn't necessarily mean you're supposed to be doing it. Mm-hmm. I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. That was
really,
even though I was doing it and I was doing well at it, I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing it. And that was the hard part.
Were there guys that worked there that would walk in and not know about your boxing background and be like, God damn it. Hey, look, I said that needs to be on my desk by fucking 4. And you're like, oh.
No, they didn't know. Actually, very few of them knew about my boxing. Very few of them knew anything about me before that job. They just thought I was just another nerd. And a few of them knew about my music side of me because I was always writing songs and I was playing in bands, and music was always just like a hobby, I guess you would call it, on the side, and something I took very, very seriously. Actually, it was where my passion really was in songwriting. And how some people like golf on the weekends and fish and stuff, which I do that. I fish, but I just wrote songs. That's all I could think about, and that's all my brain was focused on at the time, because I think something was telling me this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because there was just some massive amount of energy and focus towards that I honestly can't even quite understand now. But when I would go into that office or the lab, I had an office and a lab. And when I first started going there, I had, like I said, a feeling that I wasn't supposed to be there. I call it like a feeling you could hear. It was weird. It's like dramatic to say you could hear it because it's lame. It was just something like it was weird. And if I was to translate that into English, it would have said, you're not supposed to be here. I think that's, and it was very annoying and quiet. But as the years went by there, it got really, really, really loud. like annoyingly loud. And I had this boss that took me aside and basically told me, he used a metaphor. He told me they were about to put the golden handcuffs on you. And it was a very powerful one. I was like, I don't like the sound of that because I don't care that much about money, and I don't want to be handcuffed anywhere. And it was really effective being a word nerd. And back to the feeling you could hear thing, you know, I had that conversation and like this thing was just getting louder and louder. And really, you know, leaving that job to write songs for nobody, for no money, with no direction, no publishing deal, nothing. My biggest fear was walking into that office one day and that feeling that you could hear would be gone. Like it was just gone. Like that scared me way more than coming in one day and it was louder and louder and louder. It being gone scared me more because it had moved on, like it gave up on me. And that's what made me make that decision. So
That's pretty fucking deep. That's really fucking deep.
Well, I'm really grateful for it because I'm not sure if I would have made it without it. I would have just stayed doing what I was doing,
Do you know,
not
so
what I was
funny?
supposed to be doing.
I was the exact opposite. I was one of the golden handcuffs. I cared about money. I still care about money. I don't know about it. Like I don't realize about it. I talk freely about not understanding money and not really caring about understanding money and not caring about money. But I always wanted it. When I didn't have it, I really wanted it. Mm-hmm. And then once I got it, I was like, what? This makes life easier.
Yeah.
Easier. You don't wake up with worries, but it doesn't make life better. And, but when I worked for Travel Channel, that noise, it was screaming. It was like, get the fuck out of here. And I was like, I can't hear you. Someone get me health insurance.
It's a powerful motivator. And growing up really poor like I did, I mean, that was the best job I've ever had. And anybody back home would be like, you're going to give, like people would give up their left arm for that job. Yeah. Like, and you're making great money. You got benefits, a 401k. And
where were you living?
I was living in Nashville. It's like Mars is based out of Franklin, at least in Mars, North America.
We should let everyone know you were a scientist for Mars.
Yeah, I was a scientist for Mars, not from Mars.
So what did your job entail as a scientist? Like did you break down stuff inside the candy bars?
Well, I actually worked in their pet food division because they actually own a huge chunk of the pet food.
You did the little greenies.
Yeah, well, it's called Dentistix Fresh.
Dentistix, yeah.
Dentistix Fresh. That's one of my babies. Yeah. Actually, it's still on the shelf. I still see it out there. And it's like, come on, keep going. But yeah, I made a handful of products for them over the years. And
did the snack rooms just have candy bars everywhere?
They did have candy bars in the lobby that they would bring in. And like my first year there, I gained like 20 pounds because I'd never had never ending access to full size Snicker bars. Like, I mean, they were like not the little minis, like full blown, like buckets of full blown Snickers bars.
What do you think the best candy bar Mars makes is?
Snickers.
Okay. Thank you. Everyone can go fuck themselves. It's Snickers. Yeah. Snickers is it delivers so much variety in a bite that all sings the same song.
Absolutely.
And I gotta give shout out to Mars, and I hope they hear this, and I hope they're proud of you, and I hope they like claim you as one of yours and play your music in their place and go, hey guys, listen, if you want to quit, you can quit, but you got to be a fucking rock star afterwards. But like, so they do. So
I do love them. I'm very grateful for them.
I love them. I just bought every candy bar they have. What I love about, this is my, I'll tell you I didn't buy every, I guess we bought some. I love that the Three Musketeers is an entry level to what we then call the Milky Way, which is an entry level to the Snickers. It just adds and adds and adds. Yep. It's so brilliant. Do you not like nuts? Hey man, try a Milky Way. What, is caramel too much for you? Then just try the Three Musketeers.
Yep.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
And I love that they hold on old school.
Yep.
Like they're not getting rid of their grandma's petticoat to a Bounty.
Absolutely.
They're like, yo, We
Bounties-
still got candy bars for your grandfather.
No.
It's a Bounty. Bounties are fucking awesome.
Dude, Bounties slay, man.
I remember when Twix came out. Pull up when Twix came out. I got to say, I remember 2 candy bars showing up on the scene. Twix and whatchamacallits.
Ooh.
Whatchamacallits,
man.
I remember the commercials for whatchamacallit. You want a whatchamacallit? What is it? A whatchamacallit. What's that? A whatchamacallit. And I was like, when Twix came out in the UK in 1960, and 1967, and again in 1979, and again in 1979. In 1979, I remember getting one of these and being like, okay, this is a game changer. This is like, oh, this is out of this world.
Yeah.
God, Twix are
Have you ever had one frozen?
No, I got fake teeth, so I just shatter my teeth.
Yeah, don't do that.
I watched a woman shatter 2 tooth on a frozen Snickers.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening. But I'm a big fan of freezing my candy or getting it cold and eating it. And like I do the Seinfeld thing, and I'll eat my Snickers with a fork and knife. And I'll do it, man. I don't care.
I can totally see you doing that.
I did it the other day backstage, and my bandmates they had forgotten that's like a Seinfeld. They were like, "Where have I seen this before?" It really blew their minds. It tastes different when you cut it up and slice it like a.
It's like taking your time with it. It's like I'm going to overshare a story, but last night I wanted to have sex with my wife, but I didn't just want to have sex with her. I wanted to make an event out of it. Like I wanted to have some sex. And so like, that's different than just like banging one out and getting in and out, you know? And that when you do that with a candy bar and you make love to a candy bar and you take your time with it, you really appreciate that. And I do that with Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, nice.
If you just allow it to dance in your mouth, like when I was a kid, I heard a story about these poor kids that lived in Florida. And their dad brought them back honeycombs. And I was like, that's got to suck. And then they were like, you ever had a honeycomb? I said, no. And they go, when you don't get anything else, honeycomb's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I was in 4th grade, and I'd heard this story, and I saw honeycomb. They brought honeycomb to our science fair. And they were letting us peel off a little bit of honeycomb and eat it. And I remember hearing about these kids, how they took their time with it. And I put the honeycomb in my mouth. And I remember that to this day. I think about that all the time.
Bet it blew your mind, didn't it?
God, man, honey is really good.
It's really good.
It's really fucking good.
Yeah, like God made good candy. Like when you really find it. Yeah, and I had to like blow. I always think about like the first person that found a watermelon. Like I think about cracking into that thing and like what? Like this has to be God.
Do you know her grandfather one time? Leanne's grandfather said, "You ever have a hot watermelon?" And I was like, what? He goes, boy, we didn't.
Watermelon.
He goes, out in the sun. You got to crack one open out in the sun.
Ooh.
Never had a hot watermelon? And I went, I've only had cold watermelon. You know, it's like, have you ever drank milk out of a cow's udder? Yeah, and it's hot. It's like piss.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, it's hot. And they're like, you thought it would be cold?
Yeah.
I go, yeah, milk's always cold. They're like, no, it's out of its body.
Yeah, it's body temperature.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's odd.
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. But
when you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Allbirds or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and a brilliant marketing, but an often overlooked secret is actually the business behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple for millions of businesses. That business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Home of the #1 checkout on the planet, and the not so secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going up. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. I'm telling you right now, when I started this business, I never thought I would sell at all. I never thought I'd sell t-shirts, koozies, hoodies, posters. I mean, we sell so much, and our business has grown because of Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Birdie Boy Production uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Bertcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Bertcast to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Bertcast. Life can be unpredictable, but securing your family's financial future doesn't have to be. That's where Fabric by Gerber Life comes in. Fabric offers modern, flexible term life insurance designed to fit your lifestyle, whether you're planning for the future or just want a little extra peace of mind. Fabric makes protecting what matters most simple and stress-free. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online, on your schedule, and you can be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. If you've got kids, and especially if you're young and healthy, the time to lock in these low rates is right now. Even if you have life insurance through your employer, it may not offer enough protection for your family, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. I did this when I was 31 years old, 32. I got life insurance for my family. And I'll tell you what, and you know I worry a lot. You know I wake up thinking horrible things sometimes. I never worry about the future of my family. And that is so important, especially as a father, as a parent. It is so important. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/Bertcast. That's meetfabric.com/Bertcast. MEET. Fabric.com/Bertcast. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. Did you have animals growing up?
Yeah, my dad was very agrarian. He wasn't like a hipster, trendy thing to do, but we'd raise 2 sows one year and then a steer the next year, and we'd rotate. And we were a big deer hunting family, so we'd always have tons of deer meat in the freezer. And people would drop off deer if like some of my dad's friends would kill an extra doe or have an extra doe tag or whatever. They'd drop a doe off, and because they knew my dad was raising kids and he had a lot of expenses, but me and my brother would have to butcher them. So, but yeah, we'd have we had a lot of animals, but not because we were trying to, we literally ate these things. So like it was, and we raised rabbits for a long time for food. We had like my dad for about 2 or 3 years. We just ate so many rabbits. We had these like little cages in our barn, and we'd have like 60 to 70 rabbits. I'd have to go out there and kill like a half dozen of them every other day just to keep up with them.
Leanne's chomping at the bit. Leanne grew up, hey, come sit in on this, Leanne. Leanne grew up just like this.
Yeah?
Like,
Did you eat rabbits?
Oh, no, she didn't you have to raise a pig or some shit?
My grandparents had a 250 head cattle farm.
Oh, wow. So we didn't have nothing like that.
But they were so rural, so they ate everything we ate, they grew. Mm-hmm. Either in the garden or we had goats, pigs. We would always set aside a cow and a pig every year. We did not eat rabbits, but we had lots of, he's a cattle farmer, so we need to eat rabbits.
Yeah, of course not. Why would you eat
everything
rabbits?
they ate, they grew.
Yeah.
And they'd trade with the dairy farm down the street.
Awesome.
It was really cool. I lived with my grandparents for a little bit. And I definitely worked on a farm. I had to raise a calf every year.
You both had single fathers raising you.
My dad's a mechanic.
Oh,
yeah, as you're telling your story, I'm listening. Her dad's dream was to have a body shop. He has a body shop.
Well, he has a mechanic shop. His brother had a body shop. So they worked together. One would do mechanic work, the other do body shop.
Well, Leanne can't sing at all, so there's a big difference.
No, I can't sing at all.
It's a power duo right there. Yeah. Body man and mechanic.
I know. Smell a Bondo.
Oh.
Take you right back, right?
Yeah, I can smell it right now.
I can too.
I can literally taste it.
It's very specific. And you can, when you smell it, you're like, somebody's doing body work.
Oh, yeah. Very.
So, if you don't mind me asking, and by the way, anything we can edit, anything out, anything you don't want to talk about. Did your parents get divorced, or did your mom?
Yeah, they got divorced when I was about 5.
And your dad took custody?
Yeah. It's a long story. And my mom was doing really good. Right now, I'm so proud of her. She's had a very, very rough life.
Yeah.
She's a huge part of what I do. Even though my album's called Son of Dad, my dad is very much a huge component of what I do. But my mother is, there's a lot to unpack there, and I will. But yeah, she like everything that I do. I think a lot of that comes, at least as a musician, as an artist, it comes from her. My dad didn't do music, and like he didn't really have an artistic side.
She from Indiana also?
She's from Southern Indiana, yep. And she was raised by her mother, and with 6 kids. And yeah, she was just a wild kid, and she had me at age 18. So I was like I should not be here. Like,
there's without a doubt, you are what Leanne calls it the Oprah gene. It's the kids that Leanne's got it. It's the kids that all the cards against them. They're not supposed to turn out the way they turn out, but for whatever reason, they don't need the cop that pulls over every day and goes, how are you doing? You got that gene where you go, I'm just gonna persevere. I'm gonna keep doing things that interest me.
mm-hmm.
And
it's a resilience, and I think part of it is your dad raising you the way he did, because boxing just builds so much grit and metal. And I mean, like, I could totally relate to that too. I grew up in a log cabin with no heat, so we had to chop wood, and one room had heat, and so I slept like in a bedroom that had no heat, and it was cold as shit.
Yeah.
And even today, he likes the thermostat at 66, and I'm like, I'm having a trauma response.
Uh-huh.
Can I not walk around and be freezing? I can't. I take my clothes in the living room to get dressed because it's too cold in our room for me, because I had to get undressed and take a shower, and like the water would be frozen in the sink.
Yeah.
Cold. You don't want to get, it's weird. But then the positive of that is you can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah.
I have a question about when you work for Mars and that voice was talking to you saying, this is not where you should be, then why do you think you were there? What was your purpose?
Well, I was in bad shape when that job showed up. I was, I just graduated from college. I was playing in indie bands, and I was actually homeless when that job showed up. I was like living in a van. I was like a Chris Farley joke. It's like I was literally like a mile away from the river. I was like, I'm literally living in a van by the river, and I was driving like a scooter around because my car got repossessed, and I was literally just sleeping in the van. And so when that job showed up, like it really was, I was in bad shape. I was in, a bad time. So I think that job showed up for a good reason. And I think I needed to see kind of what, because I went and got that degree. I spent 5 years getting it. And, I had a lot of bitterness. I was like, why don't I just go be a scientist? I could, fix my life right now. And then that job showed up, and it really just kind of showed it and answered that prayer. And it was like, oh, you asked for it. Well, here it is. And then I think I needed it at the time. And it's been a huge part of, I feel like that company helped develop me in a weird way. They helped me grow up.
Those jobs show up, like for me, it was Travel Channel. Those jobs show up to teach you something about yourself.
Yeah.
And I always, and when I do this podcast, I always hope there's a I say young man because I'm a guy, and I just think it's a guy or a girl listening to this in a job like we were in, going, oh, wait, maybe I need to look at this job as, what is this teaching me?
Yeah.
What is this giving me to get to the next place?
Yeah.
Was there a panic leaving the job to go to go back to music? Was there a panic where you're
massive.
like,
yeah. But at the same time, the panic was like wrapped in a piece that, and which was a very comfortable place for me, panic wrapped in peace, or peace wrapped in panic, whatever it is. And so that,
sounds like boxing.
Yeah, there it is. It was just another round. It was like just another ring to jump into. And yeah, I definitely dealt with a lot of doubts for the first couple years. Like 2 months after I quit my job, I was hooking up a shitty John boat to a trailer, and the leg slipped out and fell on my hand and severed 2 tendons in my hand.
Yowza.
Like right after I quit my job. Like,
are you fucking kidding?
So like I was like, I didn't even know if I was ever going to be able to play guitar again. Like the doctor was like, I don't know if you're ever gonna. And like this was like, well, I guess I made the wrong decision here. Like, so it was really quick to like, I had a lot of like doubts creeping in, and be like, just go back and get your job. And they would hit me up and be like, hey, if you ever want to come back, you can. And there was a lot of temptation, but at the same time, I really just stayed true to what got me out of there and tried to listen to that.
Where
More
did
so.
that come from? Not everybody does that. So why do you think that you were able to say, golden handcuffs, no, it fell on my hand, I'm doing it anyway. I believe
My
in
dad.
myself. From your dad.
Yeah, he's crazy like me. Like back to like he taught himself how to box. He threw himself in a ring, raised 3 kids. He's just crazy. He was a wild man.
He's undeniable.
Yeah, and he just was a dream chaser, 100%. So like when everybody else was like, dude, you're crazy to leave that job, he was literally the only person going, you gotta leave that job.
That's
I
amazing.
love that dream chaser.
And he just really, he was like an unabashed dream chaser. And, you know, he raised the 3 of us. He wasn't able to chase a lot of his boxing dreams because I think he really could have been something truly great. And I think, you know, he saw a lot of that in me, a lot of that craziness, the wildness. And I have his tenacity, like just that kind of just stubborn. I'm really grateful I inherited that from him because that is totally him.
I got the I was talking to someone about this the other day, I think in Nashville. I'm just too dumb to not know I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I just go, why not? Why not? It's got to be somebody, right? Like it's got to be, you know. I was talking to I forget who I was talking to, but we were like, I just was like, yeah, why not do a summer festival? Why not put together a summer festival? Why not take chances that no one takes? Who gives a fuck? You're only here once. One day it's going to go dark.
Yeah.
Somebody had to be the first.
Someone's got to do it
everything.
first, and
Yeah.
it pisses a lot of people off. And when you get, I always say, when you're that alpha wolf laying paws crossed on top of the mountain, a lot of people get pissed off.
Well,
They don't like to see your paws crossed.
I'm no alpha wolf, but can I use a restroom?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
Right
sorry.
there. No, please. By the way, Christian, I'm just going to tell you, you did a horrible job buying candy. What? You went to one fucking gas station? I have a company. Christian yesterday, I'm going to call him Kirsten. Kirsten yesterday goes, dude, I'm going to swing by Mars. I'm going to swing by and get every fucking candy bar. He got a Snickers, a Milky Way, and a Twix, and a Bounty.
I never even heard of a Bounty. It's coconut.
It's their competition with Mounds. So take a bite.
So this is the OUN. You got to get the OUN, right? It's coconut.
What do you mean OUN?
MOUND It's an alliteration thing. That's how they do that. BOUNTY MOUNDS.
No.
It is, I swear to God.
Hold on,
It's not
hang
a
on.
mistake.
Hold
It's scientific. Ask the scientist when he gets back.
on.
And guess what? It's in 2 pieces like a
hang on,
Mars bar.
hang on.
Like a Mounds.
Mars and get the answer to why they named it that.
I guarantee you it's same.
No.
It is because, look, the Mounds bar comes in 2
I hope you're
pieces.
keeping this in the fucking
2
show.
pieces. It is whoever came first, Bounty or Mounds.
Find out who came first,
Who
Bounty or
came
Mars.
first?
Well, you stepped out at the perfect time to piss. Do you think that Bounty is an alliteration, BOUNTY, to
MOUNDS, and they were both in 2 pieces, a Mounds bar and a Bounty bar. I don't think it's a mistake that both
you're
words
not
have
married, are you?
I
OUN.
am married.
Oh, you are married?
Yes, sir.
Do you have kids?
I have a stepson, yeah.
Yeah?
And my wife's name is
Leanne.
Leanne.
Are you fucking serious?
Dead serious.
We talked
The Bounty
about that.
chocolate bar was introduced in 1951. Jesus.
So your music, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
The lyrics that you write are very poetic and lyrical and beautiful. Did you grow up reading? Where did that come from in your life?
Well, a lot of it comes from my mama.
Yeah?
I used to, when I'd visit her, I'd catch her writing poems on junk mail. She'd write poems, and she was going through a really, really tough time. Like I said, abusive relationships, and just really living in poor conditions. And I would see her writing poems on probably bills she couldn't pay, and then she'd throw them away. And it was just like her way of getting it out. And I would do anything to have those because I bet there's this incredible work in there. So I started doing that.
That's how she coped.
Yeah, but she didn't really, exactly. And she didn't know what she was doing. She didn't take any poetry classes. She just knew how to pour emotion out onto paper and to make it just beautiful. I just remember her penmanship and just it was just so artful. And yeah, I just started copying her, and I would write them in, quiet and secret, because it wasn't cool for like a country kid to be writing poems. Like, it was my own little secret hobby I had that my dad didn't even know I did it. My brother and sister didn't even know I did it. It was just my own little thing. Like, my mom had it, and it was my thing I got from her, and her just ability to observe the world. And she's like really witty and very, very funny. And so I think all that comes from her, like all the writing and obviously I've read a lot, and like poets like inspired me a lot. Like Edgar Allan Poe is when I started reading Poe, I was like, well, this is it. Like, I wish school was just this constantly. And, I was like, and everybody was like, dude, you seem a little extra excited about it. Edgar Allan Poe. And I'm just like, you need to like pump the brakes on that a little bit. It's like, all right, I'm back to being a quiet kid that would fight at recess. But honestly, that was like, that really caught my heart, is when I started reading Poe. And then I got into, writers like Kurt Vonnegut and Stephen King and all them. They really, those really, really prolific writers that just would like pour information out of their brain nonstop, no matter what. I was really influenced heavily by that.
It's an interesting brain to have, a science brain and a humanities brain, right? Those are two. People think they're opposing, but really science is about creativity within boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So it's creativity either way you go, I think. But that's really interesting that you didn't pursue English as a major or, creative writing or something like that you went into science instead. Why do you think that is?
Well, science made a lot more sense to me, and I was trying to make sense of the world, and science seemed to be a way for me to do that. So I was trying to like break it down at its molecular level. Like, I'm a microbiologist. I started with the smallest biology you can find, then worked my way up from there. So I really was trying to just understand like why we're all here. So science, and I learned later that science is just a tool. It's not an ideology or a religion or anything like that. It's just it's like a chainsaw. If you use it wrong, it can backfire on you. But if you use it right, it's a really useful tool for trying to find a truth and sift all the bullshit around it. And I think that's what I was seeking, a truth, and science is a truth-seeking mechanism. And so that's really what attracted me. And there's a lot more creativity, like you said, in science than you think. And there's a lot more analysis and creativity than one might think. So,
which do you draw from more when you write songs? Out of your both backgrounds, boxing, and which do you find your songwriting is closer to, your science brain or your boxing brain?
Probably the boxing brain, because that's where it's like just pure heart. You need that first. But my researcher mind has been really helpful, because I approach a song like a hypothesis, like an idea. And you get to test that idea just like you get to test a joke. A joke is like an idea, a hypothesis, and you test it against the world over and over and over again in an experiment. That's how you get a truth in science. You can't just do the experiment once and be like, oh, we're good. Yeah. You got to test it over and over and over again against the world. And the world is big. There's like different labs and different worlds. Like, you tell the same joke in Denver versus at, New York, it could be totally different. You really get to test it against the whole world. And using that method for deducing a song's worth has been very helpful for me, because I approach it that same way. It starts with a hypothesis and goes all the way down the line until you hopefully have a truth. And hopefully you've done the due diligence and kept your user bias out of it to not interfere with it. Because I really just want to use experiences and my emotions to authenticate an idea, not so much, be the idea. I just want to use it to be like, okay, I felt this. Most likely somebody else has felt it, and then go test it against everybody else, not me. So science is, it's a little bit of both, but you have to have the heart first, and boxing is all that.
When we were listening to your music in here yesterday, getting ready for this interview, and when you say that, my favorite songs of yours have such an authenticity. They don't necessarily fit a mold. Like sometimes you can listen to country songs and it sounds like a formula. Someone's talking about a hound dog, a truck, a beer. And you're like, well, everybody's talking about a hound dog, a truck, and a beer. But that's not what I feel when I listen to a lot of your songs, is that they don't fit a formula, but they still work in a formulaic way or something like that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Like they're just really, really authentic, and your voice to me is true to you. And very specific to you.
You know what we were saying, which is kind of cool, is when we listen to you play with a band, it's fucking amazing. And when you hear you play solo, it's fucking amazing. Can I tell you the analogy we drew from? It was like, do you remember when you saw Nirvana Unplugged? And you're like, okay, so now I have two favorite bands, Nirvana with their plugged in and Nirvana Unplugged. And they're so different. They're so different, but they're so fucking awesome.
It's the same artist.
I got to give a shout out to the Print Shop. The Print Shop guy, and I've DM'd that guy. I think he's out of Atlanta, right?
Yes, sir.
He's out of Atlanta. If you got to check him out, because that's where I saw you in that Print Shop session. And then I checked out, and he's got a lot of great fucking music.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of great music, and he is underviewed in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they should have. That's like that was such a great fucking session. But what's crazy is so I see you on that, and then I'm start. I think I was talking to maybe I was talking to Hardy, or I was talking to maybe Ernest or Jelly, and I was bringing up, and they go, he's been writing songs in Nashville for a while. Like he's like a legit amazing songwriter. And then they started saying all the people you wrote songs for, and I was like, how the fuck did that happen? And I'm going like, oh, like yesterday I was like, I got to hear these guys sing some of your songs. And then in a weird way I was like, are you allowed to re-release all the songs you've written for people? Because I know, like, we saw Ernest, and he played like a song that he had written for, I think, for Morgan or something. I don't remember, but he played a song that was like a big hit song, and we heard Ernest play it, and it was like totally different than the way you hear another person play it. And I was like, what was it like writing?
And also awesome, right?
Awesome,
like
amazing.
His version was awesome, but different from the artist.
Ernest, I have to say this. Ernest might be one of my favorite new friends I've ever made. He makes me giggle so fucking hard.
He's a funny dude.
He's a funny dude, and he's really talented, he just is all you guys, man, you guys are in such a cool, people used to say that about us. They're like, man, I'm so jealous. You guys are all the LA scene, podcasting, it's just taking off. I look back and I go, man, we had it fucking made. We were having so much goddamn fun at that time. And then a bunch of people fucking traded out and went to Austin. What a fucking assholes.
Moved to Austin. I just moved to Austin. I didn't know what you were trying to say.
But what was it like writing music for other artists and giving it to them and then going like, did you ever sit back and be like, can you, I saw it a little different in my head.
No, I never did that. I mean, I feel like once you let go of it, you got to let go of it. And I never imagined myself being an artist when I was a staff writer. I didn't like, oh, this is how you sing it, dude. I mean, I wasn't a singer. I never sang a song for anybody ever until like 10 years ago. So who am I to go, but like, you need to sing this different because I'm whatever. So I didn't really have much of that. I was only singing the demos just to get the songs cut. Like that was the only reason I was singing, period. It was just because I wanted them to sing the song. But yeah, I'm very much a Nashville songwriter. I went to Nashville on purpose to learn from the greatest. I still believe that Nashville, Tennessee is the best place on planet Earth to learn how to write songs. I'm not going to say the best songs have come out of Nashville, and Nashville gets a lot of grief for some of the music it's put out. But I'm very much a Nashville songwriter. I learned from the greatest in that town. I moved there because I heard like every song that really moved me as a kid was written in that town. And I had to go where the Lions were. And so as a staff writer, I was honored because that's where I wanted to be. Like I was with my peers. I never dreamed I'd be an artist. But my idea of the top of the mountain was being in those rooms with those writers and learning from the best or working with the best. This whole artist stuff and singing, that none of that was supposed to happen. But yeah, like that was everything for me. So just literally being in the rooms with these writers, because those were like my real heroes. And I learned, I basically went to songwriting school for years and years and years. And this is, my music is also a byproduct of that. Back to what you said, Leanne, there's a formula without there being a formula. I think, there is a little bit of that, but, I really have learned from incredible lyricists, because I write all my lyrics first. I write usually the whole song lyrically first before I put it to music. But I learned that from many other writers in town that would do that as well. And, it really starts there. And then the music and the style of it comes secondary after the idea and the concept has already established itself. And that's very much a Nashville thing. And I proudly wear that jacket, that bowling league jacket.
I'm a Song. You wrote that first.
Yes, sir.
And then you figured the music that would make it sound right?
Well, that song was a little bit unusual because I wrote that with a guy named Travis Meadows, and we were writing a song for somebody else, both of us. Neither of us were trying to sing this song, and he's an incredible artist, and I wasn't even dreaming of being an artist. But that day in particular, I'd never worked with Travis. I'm a big fan of his, and so I was just nervous, and we were just trying to write a song that we could both be very proud of. And that song really just fell out of nowhere. That was a really, really kind of divine appointment.
It's a crazy song.
Yeah, and we wrote it maybe in 2 hours, maybe.
The whole song, lyrics and music?
Everything,
wow.
Yeah. And we wrote the lyric. Travis loves to write lyrics too, so we were very happy together just carving out the lyric. And the music kind of came in parallel path, but also a little bit after. The lyrics totally led the show. But it just happened very fast. And yeah, it was, like I said, very much a divine thing.
God. So when you go into like a songwriting, I hear a little bit about how Nashville works from other people, but they go like, yeah, we went to a songwriting retreat, or we sat down to write a song. I worked with another guy, or I was in a group of guys, and then you hear about that. When you go to write songs, are you just like going through your life and you're like, because comedies, I'll show you how comedy works. It's very simple. It's you just see something and you go, like, you're like, oh, that's cool. I'll give you a perfect example. I watched Leanne, someone did a magic trick for Leanne the other day. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey man, they should do magic for Mennonites. I think that would really blow Mennonites' brains. Because they've never even seen TV. Like they'll really, they believe in the shit they believe in. You could really fucking trick these people. So then I was like, so I just wrote that down, magic for Mennonites. And then I go, so then that won't be the joke, but the joke would be, Leanne, and then that's a tag inside it. So then I write these things down that'll be little pieces into a bigger thing. Mm-hmm. And as you write the bigger thing, all of a sudden you'll take these little pieces and plug them in. Are you doing that with a song? Do you write down ink bleeding on a napkin at a bar, and then you go, I got that for something? Or do you go like thematically, I want to write a song about what it's like to be named after a man, or like how does that work?
Well, I try to take my agenda out of it, because I think everybody has an agenda, and every time anybody's had an agenda, we don't, in my experience, we don't write a great song. When someone says, somebody's looking for this, and that, okay, we're screwed. Because we already we got an agenda. Or if someone's like, oh, I need an up-tempo show opener, agenda. I need this, I need that, I need that. It's I.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You can't do that in comedy. Like comedy, your hour has to be of itself.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I wish I'd had a good beer drinking story in this last special. And I was like, but none of them have happened.
Yeah.
Like I can't just force one because I want one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's agenda.
Yeah. I feel like agenda really gets in the way of great songwriting. And I really try to eliminate that component of it and really just let it be magic in the weirdest way. Because when I've seen magic happen in these songwriting rooms, and I know every songwriter in Nashville that's been around long enough has as well. And it's usually when you take the agenda out of the equation, something just happens. Like this song falls out of the sky that you had never written by yourself, or you never would have planned it. You never, So I'm real careful about, leaving my agenda at the door. But sometimes some writers, you want to bring in something, especially if I'm writing with another artist. Sometimes the artist likes what I do. So they kind of have an expectation that you might bring some of yourself into that, right? So sometimes I will do that very carefully and reluctantly because it's their story. If we're writing for them, I want to make sure they're leading the narrative. But sometimes they are looking for something from me. And usually that will be a poem. I will have like a full poem written, and usually there's an idea, like a thesis statement around it. I don't really like to write titles. Like some people will be like, I got this title called this. And I'm like, well, we could write that, but it might not be called that at the end of the day. It might be called something totally different, whatever. Like, let's just call it an idea, not a title. Because I've written so many ideas that we thought were the title, and then we go back and it's like, that's not the title at all. It's just like line 3 of verse 2. So I would say take your agenda and manage your expectations by just eliminating them.
I want to go to a songwriting retreat so bad and just listen and smoke weed and drink and just listen.
Well,
I was with I've been with a couple songwriters. I'll just say I've been with a couple songwriters and said things offhand, and they're like, "Yo, that's a good fucking song right there."
Yeah.
But it's like and when you hear that, there's no bigger bouquet of flowers you can ever get where you're like, for real? I was like, oh yeah. And then but when I wrote music, and I know that this is not what anyone wants to hear, I couldn't get the ick out of it. Like everyone was like, oh, like every time I wrote a song, they were like, oh, I can taste it. Like it's too much.
What?
Like it was like
too much emotion.
It was like too much. It was like,
which is interesting because you're naturally a storyteller, and at least for country music is almost always a story.
Yeah. I had a song
rock
about
and roll's
jerking off
like
in a cheeseburger.
What?
What was the song I wrote?
Well, that's why they couldn't get the ick out of their mouth.
I thought it was personal.
You yucked their yum.
Personal. I thought maybe
it's personal that you jerked off in a cheeseburger.
I was young.
Did you write one about shitting on a pizza box to win an election?
No.
There's another one. Great one right there. No wonder. You should write an album called I Just Yucked Your Yum.
I'm gonna write an album called Menopause Ain't All It's Supposed to Be. Menopause ain't pausing me.
Do
you have any songs about 54-year-old women who are getting after it in bed? Who all of a sudden turned into hot Puerto Rican chicks after a spray tan?
This is because my ass just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
There's a song I want to write called Is It Cheating If My Wife Gets a Spray Tan and I Think of Puerto Rican Women When We Have Sex?
Yeah, that's a great song. You're yucking my yum again.
Yeah. Sex will be a good rhyme at the end. There's a lot
of sex.
Yeah. It checks a lot of boxes.
The
sex checks.
I want to ask about like artists that are like mainstream that I wonder like because I mean listen, I know your 2025 Son of Dad tour, and I think everything's sold out. So technically, I hate to say it, but you're
Well, that's amazing.
you're
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think you've added shows in Kentucky and in Kansas, but so there's still tickets, Wichita and Glasgow, however you say it, and here,
Glasgow, Kentucky,
but February 20th and April 12th.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a fucking crazy memory.
Oh man.
Yeah. That and I have a thing right behind you.
He has a teleprompter behind your head.
Thank you, Bert.
And I always wonder, like, is Taylor Swift really that good?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Like as a writer, as an artist, or
like,
as a performer?
Do you
all
listen
of
to
it?
her music and go like fucking back door, porch door slam?
What?
I don't know. That's one of her lyrics or something.
She hasn't sang
I think
country
she's
music
a visionary. Like
I
think she's incredible. I think she's a force, and she has, created her own path and really done it, the real way. And managed to maintain it, which is one thing to have a career like that, but to keep it growing and keep it evolving into what it is evolved into is, it's incredible.
Her early stuff, and I can say this because we listened to her throughout our children growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But her early stuff when she was younger was like undeniable.
Well, she still is. I think it's pretty incredible. That song, It's Me, I'm the Problem, It's Me, is such a prolific song because she's basically saying, I'm the problem. And she's a super, she doesn't have to say she's a problem.
Yeah.
She's the superstar. She's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. At tea time, everybody agrees, I'm the problem. That's pretty cool that she can talk about herself that way.
She's very honest songwriter, and she's really honest with herself and honest with her fans. And I think that's really what makes a songwriter is the honesty.
Who are your top 5 Hall of Fames? We know John Mellencamp's in there. Your Hall of Fame.
Willie Nelson. That's a big one.
I'd like to smoke weed with him.
You know what people don't know about Willie Nelson is that he was a songwriter in Nashville for years before he became famous.
For real?
Absolutely.
And he really, I think, if I remember correctly, pivoted to Austin. And in Texas is where he started performing live and building an audience. With Merle Haggard would come in and play with him, and Chris Christopherson would come in and play with him, and he built an audience in Texas. And then that's when he started getting famous.
Do you have a show in Austin? Do you have any shows in Austin this tour?
We have the Two Step In Festival that we're playing. But no, I got a show with Co Wetzel actually at the here in a few days.
In
27th. No, in Austin.
In Austin?
Yeah.
The 27th of
December?
December, yeah. There might be some tickets still left.
That's our anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all come on.
Wedding anniversary,
all
21
my
years.
boys live in Austin, and I would love for them to see you guys. And Co's a fucking legend. I'd love to go. And
I love Austin.
And you're releasing, when's Son of a Dad Deluxe album come out? January?
Yeah, it comes out in January. So yeah, it'll be soon. Yeah, we got a couple ones that are not on the record. A couple, I guess you call them new ones, and then we have quite a few acoustic ones that we haven't.
Why do you play? Like, it's a classical guitar, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why do you choose classical guitar?
Feels better in my hands, and they emote better. I can play them just sort of like a cello. I can get vibrato out of them that you can't get out of steel strings. I love the way a cello can kind of sound like a human voice, or at least it tries to. It kind of tries to cry like a human voice. The gut string, you can do a similar thing. It responds to it. It responds to the agitation.
Mm.
What kind of music do you listen to that people would never expect that you listen to? I'm a big 3-6 Mafia fan.
Yeah, I listen to like flamenco music, like Paco de Lucia and Al Di Meola. And then there's this African band called Songhoi Blues that I'm obsessed with. Songhoi Blues. They have an album called Optism. It's a blue record. You should go download it.
I love hearing these. Optism?
Yep, Optism, if that's how you pronounce it right. But Songhoi Blues is the band. They just
how do you say Songhoi?
Yeah, Songhoi, one word, and then blues.
But we interrupted your 5 Hall of Famers.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Okay, Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Dolly Parton,
Oh,
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
And this is a tough one. I'm gonna go Jesse Coulter. Yeah.
Jesse Coulter.
Yeah.
Do I know Jesse Coulter?
Yes, it's Waylon Jennings' wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, Jesse Coulter's an amazing songwriter.
She's
Yeah.
incredible. I'm Not Lisa. Come on.
Yeah, so
That's like one of the
incredible.
saddest songs I've ever heard in my life. Good Lord.
Do you-
listen to I'm Not Lisa after this and
I'm Not Lisa.
Call.
Yeah, I'm letting that- I just
Call
found
me-
Song
call
Boy
me
Blues.
later.
I heard Sturgill. We went to see Sturgill at the Greek, and he said, and I've met him personally. I'm not saying he's a sullen guy, but he was a pretty reserved individual. And he said, problem with this album is my producer said there weren't any light-hearted songs on this album. And he goes, so I wrote a light-hearted song. And it turns out to be my favorite song on the whole album. It's called Scooter Blues. And I was wondering, I was like, do you have any lighthearted, like fun, goofy songs?
Yeah, I have a song on the record called Cuckoo and Billy. I feel like those are they're very biographical about me, but because they're very blue collar rooted and rural rooted. But I consider them kind of lighthearted. They're like making, Cuckoo is just like a very much a blue collar, like losing your mind, working yourself to death kind of song, but in a fun sort of way. And Billy is, the hook is you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me, which is very much about like I used to get called a hillbilly a lot by my associates in labs and whatnot. It was not a compliment, and it was.
I am listening,
Mister.
Yeah,
Come sit with me. I got my ass whooped when I moved to Atlanta, and all they called me was hillbilly.
yeah.
These three boys used to beat me up every day, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, and yell hillbilly. I used to tell on them to my teachers, and my teacher would say, you got to work it out. Well, I couldn't work it out. It was 3 boys. They'd follow me home from school. They'd climb up in a persimmon tree and throw persimmons at me and scream hillbilly. Hillbilly is a trigger for me.
Damn.
Also, because I was like, I'm not actually hillbilly. We're redneck, but that's very different.
She very early in our relationship said, do not call anyone in my family or myself a hillbilly. We are rednecks. We are proud to be rednecks, but we are not hillbilly.
We're not hillbilly.
Yeah, I didn't care for the term for a long time because of that association, and it was usually derogatory, and people were making fun of the way I talked, and so you can call me Billy, but the hills come with me is very much like we ate rabbits growing up. I ate a lot of squirrels growing up. I butchered my own deer. I still live that way. I don't really wear the costume, and I don't wear enough camo, maybe, but I very much am that, and it does come with me everywhere I go. So that was kind of the attitude behind it, which is very lighthearted. It talks about kind of a lot of the Billyisms.
So funny how different we are, because I had a friend tell me, Cody Rhodes was saying, I think it was a compliment, but he said, when I met Bert, within 3 minutes, I knew everything I needed to know about Bert, and I knew every reason I wanted to know more about Bert. And he goes, Bert sold himself. He was telling Tommy, he was like, he sold himself as a brand, as a comedian, in 3 minutes so succinctly. He goes, I thought he should be a professional wrestler. and you are someone who so you're a lot like Tom, in my opinion, but like very understated. So you're not braggart. You're not like someone, you don't wear the costume. You just are authentically you. And who you are is so fucking fascinating. But if I was you, do you know how I'd walk into a room?
With 3 rabbits slung over your shoulder?
Golden Glove prize fighting scientist just walked in with his guitar and I'm ready to fucking rock.
Who wants some rabbit?
Who wants a rabbit? I used to fucking cut deer up. Like I would love to be you. I would be so much fun to be you. Wait till you see if you come to the party tonight. Wait till you see how I introduce you to people.
Oh shit!
You're gonna be like, Bert, pump the brakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have
His
like
wife's Leanne, named Leanne too. Don't call him a hillbilly. Anyway,
no, you can.
no,
I'm over
you're
it
just
now.
so fucking. You're so cool, man.
I ain't shit. Seriously, I really am. I ain't. But
No.
Well,
No.
authentic you are for sure, cool or not. You are very unique. And what makes a great artist, I think, is their unique way of presenting issues that everybody can relate to. You know, everybody has a lot of the stuff you talk about in your songs, but you present it in such a beautiful, authentic to you way that it really connects with people. That connects at a deep level for a lot of people, I think.
Well,
You're a
thank
beautiful artist.
Thank you, Leanne.
I mean, the music and your voice and the lyrics is just, I'm getting emotional. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful to listen to.
Thank
So
you.
that you share it with the world, and it is amazing. It's a gift.
Well,
So
thank you, Leanne.
I'm glad you're not analyzing
honored.
dog food.
No, thank you.
Good job.
Well,
How cool do you think it would have been to be his lab partner?
yeah, I had some cool ones. They were a lot cooler than me, actually.
I would love. When I met Leanne, my sister Cotty, we were all sitting there, and Leanne got us the table, and then got the menus, and said, "I'll go up and order, and you guys stay here." And she got up and walked away. And my sister Cotty goes, "Looks like you just found a great lab partner." I was like, "What?" She goes, "Remember in high school when you're like, I don't want to do any work this semester, but if I pair up with a good lab partner, they'll do all the work for me." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." She goes, "You found a great lab partner." She was like, "Get her pregnant." I was like, "Really?"
Get her pregnant.
She was like, "No, do not let this one go. She's ordering for us. I bet she pays too."
Wow. I love that.
And
The
nothing's
lab
changed.
partner.
Nothing has
It's all the
changed.
same.
No,
So,
it's a beautiful relationship you all have.
Aw, thanks.
Y'all are a blessing.
Most of the time.
Well,
Most of the time.
I would love for you to play for us.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you could. That would be great. And I know
I'll do my
everyone in our
damnedest.
office has been waiting to run up. Last night they were like, "Where should we sit? Because we don't want to stand. We wouldn't mind to sit." So like everyone,
Okay.
the door's going to open in fucking 5 seconds, and everyone's going to walk in to listen to you play.
all right, let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna bathroom
Paul's
break.
going to let you set up.
This song, for whatever reason, was able to resurrect my dad for a few minutes. So
Love
let's see if we can get him in the room. When the night has come, and all the land is dark, and the moon is the only light you ever see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed a single tear. Just as long as you stand by me. So won't you stand by me? Won't you stand by me? Stand by me. Won't you stand by me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if that sky that we look upon should ever tumble and fall, and if those mountains they ever crumble into their sea, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand
Won't you stand by me? Won't you stand by me? Yeah, won't you? Yeah, won't you? Won't you stand by me? Yeah. Won't you? Yeah, 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 won't you?
Wow. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Hey,
It sounds like two guitars.
Will you play at my funeral? Just make a promise. I'm gonna have a really. I was gonna have comics talk at my funeral, but I think I'm just gonna have my favorite bands play at my funeral. You know, I wish I was there. Hey, you know what? Let's hold a pre-funeral for me, so I can be there and see it. We'll do like a party.
I think it's called a party.
Oh yeah, let's just call it a party.
Why don't we have a birthday party?
God damn it, that is such a powerful song. What was the like? I've never heard that rendition of that before. What was that? Was that just you fucking around and going like, I don't know, like, it's so beautiful.
Man, that song has scared the hell out of me my whole childhood. I don't know why. It just always freaked me out.
Why?
I don't know. Like it always
It's
just
so
had,
deep and beautiful.
I know, like, and I think that was my way of. It's an incredible song. It's like, you know, it's so simple, yet so effective, and it always just haunted me. Like that's the word I would use, haunt. It haunted me, and I think my way of dealing with its mystery was trying to unpack it and reapproach it and like decipher it. Or deconstruct it maybe, and then reconstruct it back again. And honestly, I was just playing that song in my living room for years, just that way, exactly that way, for nobody and for no apparent reason. I didn't really realize it, but I think that I was getting myself ready for something, I think. And I think my dad's death, and because I was playing that song before my dad had died, and when he died, I played that song at this songwriters festival a few weeks after, and I wasn't going to go to the festival because I was just in bad shape, and they asked me to play a cover at this festival at the end of it, and I went up there and played that song, "Stand By Me," and I swear to God, I mean, I felt like I've said this before, but my dad was like a 3-year-old kid on my shoulders, and I was like carrying him, and just so weird because it's supposed to be the other way around. But and that ever since that moment, that song kind of made itself very clear to me what I was supposed to be doing. Back to the you're not supposed to be doing this, or you're supposed to be doing this. It was like, now you know. So
Wow.
Don't waste any time.
Wow.
Did your dad die suddenly?
Yeah.
He did.
He did, yeah. And we didn't really have time to prepare for it. And, you know, I would have been there, of course. I was trying to get there, and I didn't make it. And that wasn't the way it was supposed to go down. I think I was under the impression he was immortal. So I found out the hard way that he wasn't.
You just talking is going to make me cry. Jesus Christ. Man, I'm like, the way you perceive life and the way you process life is so real. It's like the things that we're thinking of that we don't maybe know how to iterate. You're just a real special dude. I said this. I've said this to a couple people. There's a few people that are just so deep. You know, Dave Chappelle is one of them. Dave Chappelle is just he thinks like a smart person. Like, I know that sounds stupid as a stupid person saying this. He thinks like a brilliant man. Like, he thinks and talks in brilliant structure. Yeah. And you and him share the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm not in the same league as that dude. That guy's, he's on a...
Everyone tag Chappelle so that he can hear this next song.
Well,
and everyone just send it to Dave Chappelle. And then Dave Chappelle's going to hear this and be like, hey, man, why don't you come out to Yellow Springs and play at my fucking club?
Say when, Dave Chappelle. That's my answer to that.
Next plane out.
Yeah, what song do you want to play next?
Speaking of funerals, I played this song at my dad's funeral. It was my dad's favorite song of mine. And he told me that a few months before he died. I don't know why he told me that. He never told me anything like that. And
I don't even know what my dad's favorite song is.
Yeah, I didn't know up until that moment either.
I wonder what my dad's favorite joke of mine is. That's a non-real question. I'm going to ask him. I like the one where you were going down on Leanne and she farted. It's my favorite one, Bert.
Yikes.
One where you said you almost shit my mouth. That one. Fire in the hole. Could have warned me.
Oh my God.
You're the one crying. You almost shit my mouth. You know that Bert joke, Bert?
I'm the one in the hurt locker.
I'm the one in the hurt locker.
I bet he liked that one a lot. This one, I wasn't able to play for a long time. After his funeral, I didn't never really want to play it again. So it's wild that I'm playing it now, and it's not released yet, but it's about to be. And it's been crazy hearing people sing this song at shows.
If you were driving in your car, I'd pull over. You're going to start crying, and your eyes are going to get foggy. This is such an amazing song, and you are such an amazing talent. But this is thank you for playing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I do this for my dad, and once I released that record, this one came back, and I'm really glad it did.
Me too.
I'm a show in San Antonio, middle of the rodeo. Daddy's hand that you used to hold when walked by.
God damn it, Bert.
Did you hear me start crying? Did you hear me cry? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The first word.
I went like this.
You hadn't even said a word.
I started going like this.
No, when he said not for the first word.
I'm going to fucking...
Go to the bathroom.
I'm going to fucking stand behind you.
No.
I'm going to stand behind you. I fucking cried into the microphone.
Yes.
I went...
Everybody heard it.
I couldn't help it.
I'm moving my mic and I'm fucking... Okay, go.
Oh, no, I gotta focus.
It's not stupid. It's a beautiful song. It's very meaningful. It's a very deep, soulful song. It makes perfect sense why you're crying. Just don't disrupt the artist.
It's okay. Thank you for that, Bert.
That's a moment, buddy.
That's a moment. I burnt myself today.
I'm a show in San Antonio, middle of the rodeo. And Daddy's hand that you used to hold when you walked back to the car. I'm the sound of the county fair, Ferris wheel kisses high up in the air. The sip of brandy when your soul is bare and you need to share your heart. I'm the words that'll hit you, that'll get you where you're going, so you never go there alone. I'm the melody glued to the memory that you can't shake when it comes on. I'm the part of you that you listen to riding in the radio all night long. I'm a song. I'm a song. Whoa, I was there the day you learned to drive, the first time that you got high. I even helped you realize that she wasn't right for you. You fall down, I pick you up again. I helped a boy become a man. When your best friend died, I helped you cry. Finally turn blue. I'm the words that'll hit you, that'll get you where you're going, so you never go there alone. I'm the melody glued to the memory that you can't shake when it comes on. I'm the part of you that you listen to riding in the radio all night long. I'm a song. Whoa, I'm a song. Listen to riding in the radio all night long. I'm the words that'll hit you, that'll get you where you're going, so you never go there alone. I'm the melody glued to the memory that you can't shake when it comes on. I'm the part of you that you listen to riding in the radio all night long. I'm the song.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Boy, doesn't it make you think of every song that means something to you all at once while you're singing the song, that song that means something to you? I thought of like 4 songs that were pivotal, important songs in my life while you're singing that song. That's beautiful. That makes you have multiple experiences at one time. That's a beautiful song.
The line I love. I can't even talk about that song.
I know.
The line I love was, I was there when you learned to drive. I was there when you got first high. I was even there when you found out she wasn't the one.
What song did you listen to when you found out she wasn't the one?
Back That Ass Up by Juvenile. I don't know. No, it's.
Was there a song when you found out she was the one?
Shut up, Leanne. Stop. Leanne, don't do this. You know what she did? She played. There was a song that I listened to that defined how I felt about her and how I felt in the situation when we had taken a break from dating, and I gave her a mixtape and I left it on her windshield. And she listened to the song, and the song is a beautiful song. It's by Coldplay. I'm not going to tell you the name of the song. I don't want everyone to fucking play it when they see me, and it to be this thing that I cry nonstop about. This motherfucker played it in the car with my daughters, and she's like, "This is the song Dad said that he needed me to hear so that he knew how I felt about him." And I'm in the back. We're driving Georgia to college. I go, "What are you doing?" And I start crying. My daughters start mocking me and they're like, "Look at baby walrus. He's crying." Oh, that is.
And I played it recently in the kitchen, and he cried again. He cries every time he hears that song.
I cry every time I hear it.
Fix you?
No, it's.
We can bleep it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's a great one.
Anyway.
That was a beautiful song.
That's so fucking, that's such a great,
Thank you.
such a great goddamn song, man. It is so, It's true, man. One time there was a song I just told the drummer for 21 Pilots this story. There was a song 21 Pilots had called Broom, Broom. What is that? Anyway, and I would hear it, and I listened to it at a time I was going through anxiety and OCD and I guess depression, but it was more OCD and anxiety, and I couldn't stop hearing it, and it was making me sad, thinking that I was away from my family, I was doing the wrong thing. The same thing you said, where that call was like, you're doing the wrong thing, and I was doing something stupid for Travel Channel, and the song depressed me. And then one day, we were in Arizona, and I was with my family, and I was doing stand-up. I was doing the right thing, and that song came on the radio, and I said to Georgia, I can't listen to this song. It depresses me. She goes, it's a great song.
My name's
Blurry Face, and I care what you think. Mm-hmm. That line kills me, and I care what you think, because I do care what people think. Remember the good old times? And it was like, it would make me so sad. And Georgia goes, hey, you can change that if you want. And I said, what? She goes, why ruin a great song? She goes, why don't we listen to it and then think about me and think about today? And we're going to a trampoline park. And I was like, okay. And now I love that song. And now I do that with songs. I can tether them to a moment in my life and have that song. And I just listened to it on repeat. The last one I did it was with Jerry Cinnamon. And I just I was like, dude, this is great. And now I listen to that song and it cheers me up. And now I'm doing it with the 315 pound bench. I just keep listening and visualizing. I hear Jump Around by House of Pain, and I just visualize me getting it done. And I'm like, and music is so powerful. Arnold Schwarzenegger told me that. You just got to visualize it. Yeah. And I can visualize it with music.
I love that you moved the bookmark.
Yeah.
Like it was on a sad chapter and you moved it like later in the book to a better, like a chapter that you move the bookmark. I feel like that's what music does. It like bookmarks all these chapters in our life. So when you hear it, like you go like, if your life was like a 200,000 page book, if you wanted to go back to that memory, you would really need a good bookmark. Mm-hmm. Like music goes, like it would take you like hours to sift through the pages and find it. Music just goes right to the sentence, not just the page.
Mm-hmm. What's really why I'm so lucky is I get to become friends with you guys. And so now I have these really cool moments of like my favorite artists. And I'm just, I am so, I think it's the older I get, the more I am tethered to really realizing how finite life is and how these brilliant moments you get in life and how important they are.
It's gratitude.
I think I cry out of gratitude, not out of sadness, out of gratitude. Mm-hmm. And
awe and humility. And
I'm so grateful. Buddy, I'm so grateful that when I DM'd you, you DM'd me right back. You're like, I'm in Europe. I would absolutely love to do your podcast. And then we got that great moment in Nashville, and we got to hang, and I got to get to know you. And then I got to do a podcast with you and really deep dive with my wife, everything that makes you such a unique artist, person, man, son, everything about you. I'm so blessed to get these opportunities.
Same here. I'm very, very grateful for you all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and
of course,
and just reaching out and being who you are and taking the chances y'all have taken. I hope you know that y'all have done great things, and you haven't done what's easy and what's planned, and you've to get to where you've gotten, you've had to take great risks. And
I'm like your dad. I'm a dream chaser.
I like it.
I'm a dream chaser. I love it. I'm never going to stop hearing that.
You're a dream chaser, and I'm a rider of unicorns. Right? You're the unicorn.
Oh, yeah. I'm a unicorn.
You're the unicorn.
I got lost on that lyric.
You're the unicorn.
If this was Avatar, you would be that creature that you have to get on.
Yeah.
She's like intertwining her hair with your DNA, and
got me.
And you guys are, yeah.
Can I tell you what's driving me nuts about this moment is we're having this great moment, and Leanne's chewing gum like she's Pinky Tuscadero over there. Like she's like.
Sorry,
would you like to play another song, or do you think? What do you think? Yeah, let's do.
Happy to.
Yeah.
What do y'all want to hear?
Anything.
not sad?
Anything. No, anything. I don't care. Anything. Whatever you want to play, I want to hear. I don't care. Dealer's choice. And another beer, please.
You want to hear something like kind of a little country and
yeah.
Let's do Cuckoo. Screw it. This will be fun. And a hammer in my hand. Next, got the kids and half of my check. The other half goes to the IRS. Beers on the hood, cars on the block. Carburetor parcels sitting in the box. Switching that wrench, stripping that bolt. Busting off a knuckle, make a man go. This world keeps shaking me, breaking me, taking me, making me damn near crazy as a and I'm here out there, I'm pulling my hair out, burn out a little too soon. Chasing that carrot on the pole. One more thing in a long line of things I can't control. The doc says hi, gives me a pill, shoots me a shot, sends me the bill. Life is a road and it's all uphill. One don't drive it, then the other one will. This world keeps shaking me, breaking me, taking me, making me damn near crazy as a now here out there, I'm pulling my hair out, burn out a little too soon. Running on the train, gunning that race, chasing that carrot on the pole. One more thing in a long line of things I can't I can't
can't control.
Yow.
Fuck me!
That was awesome. Another great song. That was a great song.
Thank you very much.
You're so good at negative space.
What do you mean by
You're
that?
so good at, like, a great comic can control the silence. And you're so good when you slow things down and you go quiet, it draws me in like you have like nothing. God damn it, you're so fucking good.
Well, the silence is everything.
God, you're fucking good. Jesus.
Thank you, Bert.
I'm not that good at stand-up. Jesus. I feel like I got to get on stage. Like, I literally was watching him going like, I'm not working hard enough. I got to focus. I got to do something good.
Oh, whatever, man.
Cheers, brother. This was an honor and a fucking
Cheers.
privilege to have you here. This is an honor and a fucking privilege. And I am so blessed that for whatever small fan base we may have as comics, that I get to share your talent with them. And there is someone right now, and this is where my gratitude lands, going, dude, who the fuck is this guy? There is one guy. He drives a forklift. I know this guy.
Yeah.
And he's sitting with this in his head and he's like, he's already stopped listening. He's over buying your new album. And it's out right now, guys. It's out right now.
His name is Gary.
How crazy if his name is Gary. He's like, shut the fuck up.
Hey, Gary.
Just all I need you to know, all I want, we're going to post this in the comments. Just share some love. Tell everyone, share this with your friends, with your family, play these songs for you. This is what I did. I took 3-year clips from that printing house and I shared it with this whole group. I shared it with everyone. And I was like, this guy's a bad motherfucker. And I was like, I just hope that happens for you more. I hope I hope that life becomes so difficult for you because you're so successful that you call me up and you're like, how am I supposed to navigate this? I hope that it's like, I hope that you don't return my calls. I hope that I'm in the nosebleeds at your shows, that I'm telling you everything. I want everything in the world for you because you are such a unique talent.
Well, thank you, Bert. Thank you so much. Again, cheers for just your time.
No.
And your reverence and just putting your energy into other artists and just supporting them. That is, it's a crazy world and your benevolence is
I can't
is
do
to
this
be
for
revered.
comedy because I'm the best one doing it. But I can do this for music.
Humility. Humble pie.
It's hard at the top.
No, listen,
man.
I swear to God.
Isn't
Listen,
it?
I swear to God when I say this, I had a lot of my friends they're really huge comics. I had them on when they were young comics, and I had them on my podcast.
And on Fully Loaded.
And on Fully Loaded, and for me, the gift, it's better to give a gift than receive a gift, and it's cool selling tickets. But what's even cooler is when you have moments like where you put your friends on and people go, "Who's that guy?" Mm. When Georgia saw Shane Gillis for the first time
3 years ago.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, I think it was.
It's 3 summers
Three
ago.
summers ago, and he hadn't popped, and she just put her hand to her mouth and she goes, "Is he allowed to say that?" And I said, "Yeah, baby, yeah." She goes, "I mean, am I allowed to laugh?" And I said, "Baby, that's what comedy's about." When I watched her watch Dave Attell, that's the joy for me. That is my joy, is watching other people enjoy new stuff. It's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing you can do. Do you remember when you and your brother would find a band together and you'd share it back and forth? You go, "Oh, have you listened to this one?" It's the coolest thing in the world that you can do. It's like introducing someone to weed. It's so fun. and the fact that there is someone named Gary in a forklift listening to you going, "I know what I'm driving home to tonight. I know what I'm going to drink a 6-pack of beer on my porch to tonight. I know what I'm going to play for my wife when we drive on a long road trip. I know what I know who I'm going to go see when he's in Wichita, Kansas in March, whatever." But real quick, your tour is pretty much sold out. You got 2 shows that are available.
Yeah, we have a show in Wichita, Kansas, and Glasgow, Kentucky. Has a few tickets left in both of those. So yeah, it's pretty much very close to sold out.
And this is our Christmas episode. Oh,
Is
Yeah.
it? Oh, awesome.
Gary's not driving his forklift today.
Yeah, Gary's off. Gary better be off today. I hope he's off.
Gary's, yeah.
Gary might be working.
By the way, I'm
Yeah.
working if it's Christmas Day.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Well, what a great gift for Christmas.
Yeah, what a great gift for Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Brother, God bless you, man. You're
God
fucking
bless
special.
you.
Thank you so much for doing
Bert.
this.
Thank you, Leanne.
Stephen. It was
Much love to you
beautiful
all.
spending time.
Great episode,
God bless
everybody.
you. Thank you all.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.